I guess I'm just going to continue here. And I hope people realize I've gone live and to continue here. I'm so aggravated. Fucking internet, right? All right. Hopefully everybody moved over with me. If not, maybe I can figure out how to splice these two back together. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. He was giving me a really great, they said that they had just talked about consent the other night with their partner. I'm hoping that they came over and to join this one too, because I really want to know what they were talking about. So we had gone to Enthusiastic. We're on this amazing graphic that Professor X has put Professor X. Professor Sex has put together this awesome graphic called Consent I'm Safe. And we had gone through all the other letters before the internet fucked up. Okay, the Facebook user says I'm here, maybe. Maybe it's the one that was talking about it. Awesome. If you are the one that just said that you just talked about consent with your friends or your partners the other day, please let me know what part of consent you were talking about. So enthusiastic consent, right? That's the I am on board for this 100%. Does that have to be given verbally? I get a lot of questions about that. Does that have to be given verbally? I think that my answer is no. It does not have to be given verbally. I think that you can tell by body language if somebody is enthusiastic about getting it on, about other sex acts. I would say that, yeah, I would say that it could be physical cues for sure. But that being said, if you are at all, even 0.0001% unsure that that's what the physical cues are that you're getting, be verbal. Be verbal. Because there is nothing better than verbal consent. I get a lot of people that are like, Mandy, asking for consent for anything, people. This is not just about sex. This is about kisses. This is about hugs. This is about smacks on the ass. This is about sharing space with people. Consent. We use this in all areas of our life, right? But oh shit, what was I saying? I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck. I don't remember what else. I completely just lost my train of thought. I don't know. Consent is super fucking important. Oh, that's what I was going to say. People say, Mandy, asking for consent is not sexy. It will ruin the mood. And that is just a fucking lie. Just, to me, and I would say to most people, the general consensus says, that somebody saying yes enthusiastically, I would love to put your cock in my mouth. You tell me one dude, one Sorry, one penis owner, I don't care if it's a dildo or a bio, you tell me one penis owner that doesn't think that that's fucking hot, being told that. There are ways to make asking for consent sexy. There, it doesn't have to be robotic and unnatural. Make it sexy. Make it, hey baby, tell me what you want to do to me. If you're unsure if you're unsure you're on the same page. God, asking for consent is so sexy to me. It is so sexy. I've got a Facebook user that says I'm more of a verbal person when it comes to consent. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry, y'all. It's if you prefer verbal consent and you're more comfortable with verbal consent, then absolutely. I support that 100%. I just know that there are some people that may be uncomfortable or find the conversations awkward, especially if you're having them for the first time. So body language cues are okay. Verbal is preferable. But if you a lot of times you can tell if someone is enthusiastically interested in having sex with you or enthusiastically interested in doing anything with you. So it doesn't always have to be verbal, but I completely understand people who need it to be verbal. Let me know. I put the graphic back up on the screen if any of you have any questions. Any of the letters IMSAFE. I'm safe consent. If you don't follow Professor Sex on Facebook or Instagram or their website, I highly encourage you to do that. They post a lot of great consent articles, consent consent graphics, consent memes. They're amazing. I can go through the entire list of letters. And I'm sure a lot of people can do this. I can go through the entire list of letters and tell you when there have been a violation of consent of every letter for me. And that sucks, but a lot of people. So I said, by the way, this is Nefis Hornsby from the Facebook Poly Group. Yay! Thanks for joining us. Are you the person that likes the verbal consent when it comes to consent as opposed to physical? Oops. Yeah, that one. But yeah, I can go through every letter. The I'm safe graphic. And I have a consent violation that's happened to me for each one of these. And I honestly think I know that I am not in the minority when I say that. So if I encourage listeners, and I don't have to put your information up on the screen if you don't want me to. So if you don't want me to put it up there, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll put it up as a comment. But if there's any of these times where any of these consent violations to you that maybe you think that people need to be aware of, like I said, informed. You've got to know what's going on. You have to know, do you want to mess around tonight? What does that mean? Where is that going to happen? Moment to moment. You can be in the throes. You can be in the middle of you can be in the middle of penetration and go, I don't want to do this anymore. Moment to moment consent. Specific. I specifically consent to oral sex, but not to anal sex. I specifically said that we could do this as long as these conditions were met. Specifics. Awake and aware. That is consciousness, people. Awake and aware of what is going on. Like if someone has woken you up with sex without your consent, that is a violation of consent. That is that's not okay. And that is sexual assault. If you are under duress in some way, that violates in the I'm safe consent. If you are being gaslit or being guilted into sex, that violates that. And then the enthusiastic, that being added, that's recently, the enthusiastic part has just recently been added to the consent models. And I love it because I've definitely consented to things that I was not enthusiastic about, that I was hesitant about. And you don't want your partner to feel hesitant about things. You want enthusiasm. Don't consent to things unless you're enthusiastic about it. For sure you want to do this. Because just being real, it shouldn't be, but it is much harder to enforce the moment to moment. It is much easier for someone to violate your moment to moment consent if you've not given enthusiastic consent. Just the enthusiasm. I love the enthusiastic part. I fucking love it. So, let me hear your stories. Let me hear what your take on this graphic is. Do you like it? Do you think things have been left out? Do you think it's too much? Do you think one of these is maybe shouldn't belong there? Let me know. Professor Sex is thing again. I have had them on this show. We have had them on the Probably Polly podcast. If you don't follow them in one of their social media avenues, then you're missing out on a lot of great information. I will tag them after the show is over, so you can have all their information. But yeah, do that. They're amazing. I cannot say enough how much I love this graphic. I think that I posted this in our show group the other day. If you're not part of our show group, also the Many Loves Lunch Hour group on Facebook, you're missing out on some stuff. I'll post this specific graphic in there also, so you all can have it, and you're not having to do screenshots right now. You can have a good, nice, cleaned up version of it. We use consent in so many different parts of life. Consent starts with teaching our children what is okay with their own bodies, what is not okay. It starts with teaching our children that they have the right to say what they can and cannot, what they're okay with and what they're not okay with when it comes to their body and their autonomy. Let's see. We have a comment here. I really believe that I've learned a lot from this live, especially how ironic that I was just having a conversation with a friend about consent last night. So it's pretty cool. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You never did let me know what exactly was the conversation about? Was there a difference of opinions? You don't have to tell me whose opinion was what. But like specifically what type of consent and what were you talking about? I'm glad you've learned a lot from it. Again, I am just a relayer of information. Professor Sex is really the origin of this graphic. So, yeah, consent starts when we teach our children that they have control over their bodies. And that's so super important because people who didn't learn consent as a child have to learn it as an adult, right? A lot of these people, a lot of people, I would say, unknowingly violate consent. And they don't mean to. That being said, I am not by any means defending people who violate consent. I am simply saying that without education, some people don't know. Which is why I feel like it is so important that we talk about it and that we talk about it on a regular basis. Women, men alike don't know that they're having their consent violated, that they're not giving consent for things because they thought if they said it at the beginning, it's okay, and that they can't turn it around and they can't stop it. People waking up to penetration is not okay. And people will believe that because they consented to it earlier that evening or the night before, that means they consented to it again, and that is not right. I'm going to start wrapping up. If you have, let's see. I don't know if all of this will go up there. No, it won't. We were speaking about the situation where a woman was making baseless allegations about random people who assaulted her. And this is not to discount any real assault that anyone experienced. Please forgive me if it comes off that way. But so many, and it won't put everything up, so I'm going to have to read it off the side. But so many things were not adding up. I do want to say that it is not norm for a woman to say, or for anyone to say that they were sexually assaulted without it being true. Nobody wants to admit, it's hard to admit, that power was taken away from you. And we have to believe victims. We have to believe survivors. It's very rare for someone to say that they've been assaulted or that they have been raped or that their consent has been violated when it hasn't. I have previously been a victim of consent violation, of sexual assault, and of rape. And it's hard to admit that that power was taken away and stolen from me at those times. So we have to believe victims, because I promise you, nobody likes to admit that. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to say, make sure that you listen in the following hour to Sex with Robin, because Robin is the smartest when it comes to sex, not me. I do relationships. So, make sure you listen to Sex with Robin in the next hour. Make sure you go to onecondoms.com, use the promo code. Make sure that you get your fancy sex shit from adamandeve.com. And make sure you listen to the Probably Polly podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And tune in with me next week. And we'll talk about something else. I don't even know what. But something, and it'll be fun, and we'll fuck around and find out, won't we? You all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for following me with the technical difficulties, and thank you, my many loves. I love you all. Till next week. Bye-bye.